If you just take one of these and you get the right answer, you can run out the door and start tomorrow or even today after you're done watching this, then it could help you get to not just being braver, being healthier, being more independent than ever, stronger, more fit. And that's the goal for us to help you achieve that. Welcome back to another episode of the Brave Today podcast. This show will encourage, challenge, maybe even provoke you to step outside of your comfort zone and take more action to better improve yourself and your health. I'm your host, Mark Avens, in a crazy upside down world that we're living in that pushes people to become soft and weak and sick and unhealthy and more dependent than ever. I just don't like saying that either. It's the truth, but it's hard to say every time. The goal and intent of the show is to help you navigate through it so you can become braver today, stronger today, healthier today, and more independent than ever. That's the goal of the show. We're going to jump right in. We have a Brave Q&A. Welcome. This is actually something we're going to get started with and a little different approach. Instead of me just answering questions, I asked my coaches to get a slew of questions from our clients and people that they connect with, talk with past clients, and we're going to answer those. And I asked Coach Jennifer and Coach JoAnn, who are coaches in our Brave program, to come up with some questions that they hear all the time and some of the most recent ones. So we want to answer, because chances are, if the clients in our program have these questions coming in, or even while they're in the program, then you might have the same question. So the goal today is to help answer some questions. Maybe there's a question that you've had on your mind. I highly recommend that you listen up, because these are going to help you. If you just take one of these and you get the right answer, you can run out the door and start tomorrow or even today after you're done watching this, listening to the show, then it could help you get to not just being braver, being healthier, being more independent than ever, stronger, more fit. And that's the goal for us to help you achieve that. So let's jump right in. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome. So Q&A Monday. Let's jump right in. We'll go right into the first question. What do I do when I can't choose the meal? So I know, Coach Jen, this is a question that you've had asked from people they're saying, what do I do? So let's have maybe JoAnn answer this one, and then we can all kind of chime in. What do I do when I can't choose the meal? So what would you say to that person, Coach JoAnn?
When you're in a situation where you can't choose a meal, like you're going to a function that already has a meal prepared, one of the things you could do is eat something right before you go, so that you're not wanting to get there and eat everything. You can take something with you. I have taken cut up veggies and different things with me, because I know what they're going to serve, or I feel like what they're going to serve isn't going to serve my body for what I want. Also, when you're there, make sure that you are mingling and being in contact with people, so you're staying busy and you're not thinking about rushing over to that table all the time when you see the sweets, or you see this, or you see that. And maybe work your way around to the opposite side of the room, possibly, and just kind of keep yourself busy. Those are just a couple things.
Awesome. Yeah, I think in a situation like when I can't choose the meal, makes me think if you go over to somebody's house for dinner, if you go to a restaurant, you can pretty much choose. Maybe if it's even pre-selected, but even then you get at least sort of options. And maybe more of a party, or go over to somebody's house for a barbecue, or you go out and there's maybe a buffet or something like that. I like to think, and Jen, you can share, when it comes to choosing the meal, I still believe you can choose what goes in your mouth, even if you can't choose what the meal is. So, or you can choose how much of it goes in your mouth, right? So if you have somebody's house and they have lasagna and garlic bread and pasta and all the things maybe you get in trouble with, and what Coach JoAnn said, I think is really good. Also, you're the one putting the food in your mouth, unless somebody's feeding you, which I don't think is the case. What do you think, Jennifer?
Well, a couple of things came to mind with this question, and that is, first of all, most of the time you kind of know the general idea of what, unless it's a total surprise, like you're going to like a blind thing, you usually know, well, these people usually serve Italian, and these people usually serve this, and these people are hamburger and hot dog people.
Right.
So you usually know that kind of aspect. And what you can do is focus on the protein, because protein, even if it's a breaded protein, which we don't encourage breaded or fried food, but even if it's a breaded protein, it's better than just eating chips or junk. If there's an option, like if one of the sides is salad, you can do the salad and just either don't go with dressing or choose the least fatty, the least caloric dressing that's available, like a balsamic or something like that. And then just try and avoid the carbs, because that's where you end up having your biggest downfall. And I'm not saying carbs are bad. Don't get me wrong. Carbs are good. Carbs serve a purpose, but the type of carbs like pastas and all the really heavy processed carbs are going to be they're going to be your enemy. If they have things like, potatoes and carrots and things like that, obviously those are better choices. And that's what I would stick with.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Great answers. I agree with everything that both of you guys said. How about, so let's go to another question. What kind of protein shakes? I was trying to see, couldn't read my own writing. What kind of protein shakes and bars should I get? I took your messages and I wrote them out. What kind of protein bars and shakes should I get? This is a question Coach JoAnn heard. And maybe we'll have Jennifer answer that one.
I would stick with, like when you're reading your protein shakes, the powders, stick with something that's certified organic. Watch the sugar, look for the sugar contents. The less ingredients, the better. They do make protein bars and bars out there that have like very small things or pretty, it has nuts, it has this, it has that in it. Just a small ingredient list, and focus on, instead of going for protein shakes and bars, do some hard-boiled eggs with, maybe some nuts or a few even pretzels. And I know they're processed, but if you have like a handful of pretzels with 2 hard-boiled eggs, that's a great snack. It's high in protein. You got your carbs with the pretzels for your energy boost. And that's an easy snack to do. You can throw in some cut veggies with it, and then you have pretty much a little small snack meal.
Yeah, great. I agree. What would you say, JoAnn? Anything to add in there or something else you were thinking?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with protein shakes, because you can add all kinds of veggies in there and get your vegetables that way.
Doctor them up.
But I do recommend trying not to drink protein shakes and eat the protein bars and all of that constantly as a replacement. You need what Coach Jen was just talking about, the hard-boiled eggs and the other items like the fruits and the nuts and the veggies to fuel you properly. But when something comes up and you need something quick because you got to eat, you got to have something in you, the protein shakes are a good substitute, but try not to do it all the time. I would recommend.
Yeah, that's really smart. And I think too, maybe sometimes people they start to add protein shakes or bars because they're not eating enough protein. So I always say on what you had said in that respect, if you're using it as an additional method to get more protein in your body, that's good. And there's nothing wrong with doing it every day if you're adding it in. But like Coach Jennifer said, the less the ingredients, the better quality ingredients that you should be going for. So we don't have any specific, there's a few that I like. I know Coach Jennifer likes, but we're not going to share with you those. Honestly, the kind of protein bars and shakes you should get are the ones that you're going to actually eat as well. You're going to buy some protein bars. You don't like the taste of them. You're not going to eat them and it's just going to sit on your shelf. That's where you can be creative. And that's why I think you get creative with real food to mix in or make your own protein bars. I haven't personally done that myself, but I know it's something if you want, and it's kind of like we talk about with sweets and treats. If you make your own treats versus buying them prepackaged, you're better off because you know what's going in what's going in them. So I would say the same with protein shakes and bars and stuff. You can get the ready-made ones. They don't even taste as good as the ones you make at home, but then you can always put the stuff in it that you want versus it being in a prepackaged container. But I agree with that too, JoAnn. All right, let's go on. Next question. How do I stay on track while on vacation? Let's have JoAnn answer this one. And why don't we do this just for sake of time wise as well? Because we have a bunch, I think 12 or 13 questions here. Let's have each one. Well, we don't need to do rapid fire. Let's keep going like this. How do I stay on track while on vacation? JoAnn.
That is always a question that people ask us all the time. And it's hard, but it's also easy to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What you need to do is sit down, take time to think about where you're going, where you're going to be staying. Are you going to be cooking? Are you going to be eating out? If you're eating out, that's an easy thing. When you pick your hotels, go online, figure out the menu, find something that works for what you're trying to accomplish and how you're trying to eat. Pick that meal, go to the restaurant, stick to it because you've already picked it, and don't relook at the menu and find something else.
Yeah.
When you're headed out, whether you're flying or driving, you can always pack healthy snacks like cut up veggies, fruit, nuts, things like that. When you get to where you're going, you can always go to the grocery store if you're cooking and find good food to cook for yourself. Or if you're not cooking, find good, maybe good breakfast items that you don't really have to cook. Like you could just do like overnight oats in the refrigerator, little refrigerators they have, things like that, and fruit. But don't assume because you're flying that you can't take things with you. I have taken frozen food with me and thawed them out and cooked them when I got to where I was going.
Nice.
They will let you do that.
Nice. What would you say, Jen? That's really good.
I'm going to address the exercise portion of vacation. First things first, if you're staying at a hotel, most of them have, at the bare minimum, they have a treadmill and a weight bench that they call their exercise area. And those are great tools that you can use. Very simple. You always have walking. If you're driving, take time, plan stops to take time to walk for 15 to 20 minutes periodically. You're already stopping for a bathroom break. You're already stopping for fuel. You can kind of get a little bit of movement in, do some stretches, use a bench or something to get some exercising in. If you're flying, plan your layovers so that you can get a good 30 minutes to 45 minutes of power walking in the airport. It's climate controlled. You're not going to get rained on at the airport while you're indoors. So that's a way to get your steps in. And again, you can do some stretching and stuff like that at the airport. I'm not talking about a full-on workout, but there are stretches that you can do. And if you're worried about embarrassing yourself in front of all these people, what are the chances that you're going to bump into any one of those people that you see in the airport? It doesn't matter. The point is, you can still get your movements on. Once you get to your destination, get up early, do your workout first thing, because chances are nothing's planned anyway. You're used to getting up for work early in the morning to go to your job. What's getting up at that same time and taking half hour to an hour to get a workout in prior to hanging out with the family?
Yeah, I mean, and you're back to the embarrassing part. I always think like when you do that, is it's almost more embarrassing for them because they're sucking down a venti frappuccino and you're the one doing some exercises while you're waiting for your plane. So maybe the embarrassment is on them, not on you. Always think of that. And I thought that was good. I have to add in, that was really good. Both. And like I said, I love each of your guys' perspectives as well. I have a little different perspective on that. How do I stay on track while on vacation? Because think about vacation. Let's get really to the root of the matter. Is people want to enjoy themselves. They want to kick back, relax, have some cocktails, enjoy food, maybe some desserts, go away, some nice restaurant, maybe it's an anniversary or a wedding, or they're away, summer vacation, doing something like the family trip, that sort of stuff. And I'd like to say and impose this is the best way to stay on track on vacation is to stay on track when you're not on vacation so that you can enjoy vacation. The way I see it is I like to work really hard and stay on track. Now, not going on vacation a lot, but when I go away, I can loosen up the reins a little bit and enjoy some food that I wouldn't normally have and not worry about the scale changing or worry about falling out of shape because I'm more consistent than I'm not. And going away for a couple days or even a week or two on vacation, even if you don't even track anything, even if you don't exercise, which I don't see that ever happening in any vacation that I go on. But in that respect, is the best way to stay on track is be super good during the time you're not on vacation So even if you're maybe a little off track, because you're usually on track a lot, it's not going to make a big deal in the grand scheme of things. And that I think is to put some relief. Now, it doesn't mean to just go, go bonkers and just eat whatever the heck you want and drink and booze and whatever and party your face off like you did back in the frat house, but in the sorority house. But it's something that you can relax a little bit. One of the things to stay on track for me in vacation, instead of having 3 meals a day, we'll tend to have 2, because we typically, when we go away, we'll enjoy foods or we'll go out, eat more, or we'll be around, where we can't make our own food as much. All those things you guys shared is good. But I think for us, one of the things that's helped is we try to stick to like a 2 meal a day type of routine. And that's worked really well, because then we're just lowering our intake for the day as far as food goes. And then exercise is not a hard thing because we do that.
And you can always choose active activities while you're on vacation, which is great. Like if you go to a vacation to the mountains, you can take hikes in the mountains, or rent a bike and ride through the mountains. Options. And same thing at the beach. You got swimming, you got biking the boardwalk. There's all kinds of active activities you can do while on vacation.
Yeah, and that's the point. If you're consistent throughout, like if you're consistent and on track with your goals and exercising regularly, you're not going to want to go away from it on vacation. It's just a reality. If you're into it, if you go away, we're like, oh, finally, I don't have to go to the gym, then you're in the wrong headspace to begin with. And you're never going to get that block out unless you realize that finding something that you can do active wise and eating healthy is going to be a very good benefit for you. And then you can do those active things on vacation versus not even being able to do them. All right, let's move on. Next one. Speaking of exercise, how can I level up my walking? How can I level up my walking, Jen?
You can speed up your pace for one. You can, if you're walking on a treadmill, you can increase the angle in which you're walking is a way that you can do extra, or you can start adding little jogs in, like pick up your pace to a slow jog and maybe a medium jog, and add time. Start at 15 seconds, move to 30 seconds, move to a minute, move to 2 minutes of jogging while you're doing your walks, and that will increase your lung capacity and your endurance for your walks for just a regular day, moving around your regular day.
Yeah. Awesome. And we just talked about that with a couple of clients, one who's leveled up. She's lost almost 90 pounds, somewhere in that range. And she's actually, one of her goals now is to advance to, and she has the ability to do it, to 20,000 steps a day, which sounds like crazy. Like that's so much, but it isn't when you've been progressing and consistent, as we just talked about, staying on track. And then we had another one who was thinking about maybe doing a 5K with her son. And that's great, because I don't think prior to that, she probably thought that was even in the cards. So leveling it up is actually I think and then JoAnn, if you want to add anything in, just stepping up, continuing to challenge yourself. One of the other things you can do is, and maybe I stole this from JoAnn, is add some weight on a backpack and ruck. That's what I did 2 years ago when I realized I was only doing like 5,000 to 6,000 steps a day. And I thought it was a lot more. I wasn't tracking. And then I decided to track, and I got over 10,000. And then I got into rucking because I didn't really want to run. So I wanted the walks to be more difficult in the time that I had. So I just added some weights, 20, 30, up to 50 pounds in what's called a rucksack, or a weighted backpack. And that really helped. Got anything to add on that, JoAnn?
Yeah. I was going to use the weight, but the other thing I was going to say is use your whole body. Yeah. You have whole upper body to move around, as well as your legs. So when you're walking, swing your arms and use, when your left foot is forward, your right arm is forward. When your right foot is forward, your left arm is forward. And that creates kind of a twist in the core, which you're working your core at the same time. You're working your arms, your shoulders. And at the same time you're doing that naturally will actually start speeding up your pace. Yeah,
that's really good. I didn't even think of that. And, out in public, I've seen people out walking with their arms, and they're like, you can tell they're going after it. And even if you're at home, you maybe feel embarrassed. You don't want to like swinging your arms and moving like a race walker on a treadmill. If you're on a treadmill, what I wouldn't recommend is that you're holding on and leaning on to a treadmill, especially if you have an incline. allow your whole body to move when you're on a treadmill as well, because that you can certainly lean, like you see people leaning on treadmills and they're running or holding on to it while they're on an incline. It really isn't doing very good. Cool. Let's move on. What proteins are the best bang for your buck? I know we touched base a little bit on protein bars and shakes, but maybe we can just touch on this. What proteins are the best bang for your buck? Jen, if you want to answer this.
I like my two main proteins are chicken. And as you see, every time we do a prepared food, I'm always cooking chicken. But chicken and Greek yogurt. It's real simple, and both of them are very easy to deal with. And chicken is versatile. Greek yogurt, you can add anything in, including protein powder if you want to change it. So I start off with always plain Greek yogurt, and then I add stuff to it to change it up a little bit. Those are my bangs for my buck.
Cool. What do you got, JoAnn?
Mine is like a turkey breast tenderloin. Yeah. I've been able to get those very inexpensively for a while now where I live. So, awesome. And those things go a long way. They're so versatile in the things that you can make out of them. Yeah. Soups and casseroles and dishes with just veggies and veggie bowls with turkey and all of that. Turkey chili out of it.
Yeah. Multi-purpose, multi-use, bang for buck. Yeah. And then you can, in both of those, all the things you're mentioning are pretty straightforward, but they're versatile. You can make them in stews, and you can make tacos, turkey taco. Nicole doesn't eat beef. My wife doesn't eat red meat. But we'll do turkey meat and we'll grind it up, or it'll be ground beef. We'll make them into tacos or quesadillas, or we'll have it over a bowl with rice and stuff. So many things you can do, and very easy, just thrown in a pan. We like to use a cast iron skillet for just a seasoned skillet. Just tastes better when it's cooked in a cast iron skillet for that. Yeah. And now the same as far as bang for buck too. I think, we talked about this farmers markets in our last, one of our previous calls that we did. And I'd also believe you can probably find some good deals. I have bang for buck on meat from local farmers as well. So there's things that you're able to do in a taste. I say bang for buck, maybe bang for buck on a nutrition side, maybe not on a financial. You could probably find some deals, but you can find really cheap, dirty, nasty, disgusting meat in the grocery store if that's the way you want. If you're thinking bang for buck, I think more like quality bang for buck. So then I think of going to the farmers, getting my meat and produce. And in fact, one of the things we're going to try to do, I don't know how hard it's going to be, but I want to actually try to wean myself and my family off of grocery stores as far as for our food. I don't know how hard that's going to be, but I know now that the farmers market's opening this weekend, we can certainly get fruits and vegetables and our meat and dairy, and I can get stuff delivered as well. So that's going to be one of our goals, which means just less options, which is good because it's going to mean that I'm not snacking on peanut butter pretzels, or on junk. There was a bag we had of. They were pretzels, and I can't remember the name of them. Doesn't matter. They're really good. So I wanted like this pretzel treat, but I looked, and on the back, genetically modified, bioengineered food. This is a bioengineered food source, and I threw it in the garbage, and I won't buy it again. So I think on an educated consumer, I'm not as educated as I want to be, but I'm trying to. And that's something I think for protein as well. Bang for buck, you want to make sure that has quality, not just the quantity and how much it costs. Cool. All right, we got 5. And I'll tell you what, let's do this. I think we got time for one more, and then maybe we'll do a part 2 on this. So we have, I just can't eat vegetables. Or maybe I just don't want to eat vegetables. Let's, ad lib a little bit. I just can't eat vegetables. What can you do? What can I do to help get my body used to eating vegetables? Sounds like a thing you would talk to a kid about, right? So what would we say? I can't eat vegetables. What do you think, JoAnn?
I say hide them.
Hide them?
Eggs. Put them in eggs. That is the easiest thing in the world, to scramble up eggs and put veggies in. Or we were talking about smoothies earlier.
Yeah.
Hide them in your smoothies. Cooking a chicken breast, cut that chicken breast open, like flatten it out a little bit, pound it out, stuff it with veggies, put it in the oven or skillet or even on the grill, cook it up. And when you get that chicken and veggies all together, you can't even really taste the veggies that much, but you know they're there and you're getting them in.
Hide them. I love it.
And then your body gets used to it. And then you don't even think about not eating vegetables. When you see them, you start saying, oh, well, let me get some of this. Let me get some of that. You know?
Yeah, Nick, I love, when speaking of hide, it made me think one of my favorite, is pumpkin a vegetable? I think it's a vegetable, right? Isn't pumpkin?
It's
yeah.
like a squash. So it's
So pumpkin's one of my favorite because Nicole makes pumpkin bread out of it. I love it. I don't even taste the pumpkin. It just tastes good and delicious because it's sweet, and I love it.
Well, like
what about you, Jen?
Squash.
Yeah,
Like
squash. Yeah,
you could hide it. You could hide that with your regular turkey, like a turkey tomato sauce or a chicken tomato sauce or whatever tomato sauce and meat you want with it.
Yeah.
Put it on top.
You got to be willing to try some things out, right? I know we tried cauliflower crust for pizza and I won't go there. I just can't. Not with pizza. I can't ruin pizza by having cauliflower crust, but you can have cauliflower rice. And I'm just not a cauliflower, just never acquired the taste of that. But you can do things and be creative and try, like you said, mix them in, hide them. What about you, Jen? What do you think?
I say prepare them differently, try different ways to prepare them. For instance, like my husband, he has a veggie phobia or aversion. He does not, when I met him, he was a meatitarian, I was a vegetarian. Yeah. Now we kind of mix together and it works out for us. But he told me he hated sweet potatoes. But if I take the sweet potatoes and cut them up and put some olive oil on them and some Italian seasoning and roast them versus cooking them like a whole sweet potato, he likes it that way, mixed with onions and other things. Roasting carrots. He doesn't like carrots steamed or boiled or anything like that, but he eats them roasted. Saute the spinach instead of getting canned spinach, which I don't know why anybody would want canned spinach, but that's what he said he grew up on. But saute the spinach real quickly, mix it in like JoAnn was saying, and sometimes it's the way you cook it that may change how you feel about it. And you can still cook it healthy, just finding different ways, grilling, roasting. It doesn't always have to be steamed.
I was blown away. This was when our kids were little, and we were getting produce delivered to our house. It's actually a local produce place, but they didn't really have the business part dialed in too well, so it kind of fell apart. But while we were getting delivered to our house, came in like one of those refrigerator bags, and they dropped it off. And I remember one time, and you didn't know what you got. It was seasonal, right? Which was great. But then some things like, oh, we're gonna eat that, and we had kids too. Like, we got to try this. And I remember, because I never bought it at a store, kale. It was a big, beautiful bunch of kale. Beautiful. And I'm like, ugh. I was like, the smell of it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. But Nicole said, well, what because the kids aren't going to go near that. They were going near that stuff. So Nicole, I remember it was super easy. It's literally olive oil, salt and pepper, and you roast it, and you basically make kale chips and sea salt and a little olive oil, I think, and you shake it up in a bowl, put it on a pan, and it was so good. And everybody scarfed it down. And that was like one of our staples for our kids, is having, while we had that produce there. And even not today, but I would say is when they were little growing up, we would make kale chips and we'd season them, put some Parmesan on them or something like that. And it was excellent. So we didn't have to hide them. We just had to figure out a better way to cook them, which is great. Awesome. I think anything else to add? That's good on the food.
Yeah, I think
Q&A Monday. Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's enough for today's Q&A. Appreciate it. Listen, if you have questions that you want us to answer, we're going to be doing a Q&A, trying this on a weekly basis, maybe more often if you like it. If you have questions, you can send them to info@avonsfitness.com. You can also comment in there and say, hey, I have a question about farmers markets. I have a question about can't eat a meal, like can't choosing a meal, and how do I do this? And ask all your questions. And of course, we love it if you subscribe to the channel, hit the like on there. And then if you enjoyed the show, share the show with a friend. Appreciate your time. You guys made us braver today just talking about it. And we hope we did the same for you. You guys take care and have a blessed one. We'll see you.